2, 1.
Here we go!
Welcome to Sower in the States Football. Here are your hosts, the Taco Slayer Jorge and MLS Card Guy Chris.
Oh, welcome back to another episode of Sober in the States Football. The conference finals are set. There are 4 teams now. Vamos fighting Ben Olsen's Houston. Listen, last week we went over the Western Conference teams that were eliminato from the MLS. Y'all loved it so much that we decided to do the Eastern Conference. Joke's on you. We were already going to do it anyway.
Because we are creative.
Yes.
Yes.
Dude, that took so much brain power to do.
Damn. It took us like a full 2 hours to come up with that.
Honestly, like my brain was frying, like things were coming out of my ear. Chris, the MLS collection guy, is here as always.
The collection guy.
The collection guy.
Yeah, baby.
Dude, you went off in collections last week.
I'm here.
We got together getting ready to do this live stream now, and guess what? You just immediately just started spitting collections out at me. And
Collection.
Bam, bam.
Collection.
So, what happened to the MLS card guy? Are you MLS collection guy now?
This is what happens when you give me a little bit of money in my account. I just go and buy stuff. I don't need it. I don't want it, but I buy it.
But you buy it.
I bought it. So I now have a really powered up Ricky Puig and a really powered up Lorenzo Insigne for next year. So.
Oh, wait, Lorenzo Insigne. Sir, what did you buy here?
Look at all this fun stuff I've been buying over the last few days. So I got a bunch of Toronto stuff.
Ooh,
I got a bunch of LA Galaxy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, almost all of this is from auctions or jersey number stuff. So like I got the Preston Judd jersey number. I got the Jalen Neal jersey number, which actually that's a really good price for Jalen Neal anyway. Not that like you can't get it cheaper obviously now, but like he's really good. And I don't know, man. I've just been going off on like jersey numbers and one-ofs. Just getting a whole bunch of stuff and really focusing in on the Galaxy and the Torontos because I picked up a Lorenzo Insigne forward card because I think he'll have a massive year next year. And then obviously Ricky Puig is pretty good. So powering them up.
Right. Obviously our conversation from last week had some influence in your LA Galaxy collection, obviously. Yes. But this, and we'll get to it. We'll talk about Toronto. Boy, we'll talk about Toronto, let me tell you. But what's the decision behind going, hey, I'm going to take a gamble, not just on Insigne, but I'm going to do the whole freaking thing? Please.
Because I think they really underperformed, right? I think they had a decent like collection of talent. They have good young guys. They have good like veteran players. Like Richie Laryea is obviously not in Toronto anymore, but that's a really nice card to have powered up. Jonathan Osorio is really good. Mark Anthony Kaye can be good at times. They've got even Bernadeschi, like, could be good. I mean,
could be good.
He's a very goal dependent. He's not much of an AA guy, but like he could be okay. And then they got some young guys, right? Like I picked up all the 18-year-olds. DeAndre Kerr, I think, is pretty good. Marshall Ruddy has had a lot of a hype around him as well.
Interesting.
So like and Io Akinola, like guys that like have had value in the past that didn't have good years because nobody did in Toronto. That like could still be worth something and could still be like decent. And that was kind of the reasoning behind my Cincinnati collection too. Was like, is so many good cards that I can play from that. I have a stack of it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I think that's the reasoning behind it. Is it just makes so much sense. Like you get the whole stack as long as it's a decent team. And specifically with this team, I'm paying literally $0 for all these cards because they all had really bad years. So I'm on the buy low hype train. Not that I think it'll get like too much higher, but I'm at least gonna like pump a little bit because I'm a fan of John Herdman and I think they'll be good next year.
And I think that's one of the most important things to like really consider here is that John Herdman is now coming in at Toronto, and we saw what he did with the Canadian national team going into the World Cup. Sure, it didn't work out. Sure, there's some injuries. Whatever you say, like they still probably out of CONCACAF, they still probably had the best showing, maybe.
Yeah,
And he's coming into Toronto. Look, the pieces, the Olive Garden era is still here. Okay, the Italians are still on the roster.
They haven't left the train yet.
There's rumors now that Bernadeschi wants to go back to Juve and all that stuff, and sure, that's a thing. But they're technically
which honestly might
there.
not be the worst thing.
But do you think someone like John Herdman, who literally can say, "Look what I just did going to the World Cup. I did it
With
on this stage."
Alphonso Davies, like with huge names in the Canadian national team that are playing in Europe. It's not like he's going to go to Insigne and be like, "Oh my god, never seen anybody with your level of talent before."
So
Like
are you
he's coached world class players before.
yeah, and the pedigree is there. So do you think that would be enough to maybe keep them around and go, "Hey, I know we only won 4 games and lost 20 of them. Uh but you should come back and we can try again." It's
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Toronto is one of those teams that like they can spend money, like they have money.
right.
Even if they get rid of Bernadeschi, I believe he's a DP. They're gonna replace him with somebody who's like amazing. You know,
Right.
I think they just had a really bad last couple of years here, and part of that is just I guess Bob Bradley just sucks now. Even as good at LAFC,
Washed.
he just is terrible now. But yeah, I mean, I think they have a ton of talent, and I think they could be like a pretty decent team if they can put it all together. Like they got to get Marshall Ruddy involved because I feel like he's a really good player. DeAndre Kerr is a really good player. Um, I mean, Bernadeschi has his moments, but Biko is decent at Miami. Like maybe he could be a decent piece. Osorio's a really good player, right?
Yeah,
Mark,
and hey, they still have Latif Blessing in that team too.
do they have Latif Blessing?
Yeah, Latif Blessing's still there.
Oh,
And that's
he was in New
he's the
England.
MLS workhorse, man. You
He
just
is my
slot him in whenever
favorite
you need him.
player. He's my all-time favorite player. I almost bought a super rare of his, but
Is
I was
this
like, eh,
could this be Latif's like cuz I feel like his spot in the starting 11 is never really there. He kind of just
no.
floats around, fills in gaps. He's like the all-around piece that you need,
He
but like
starts for whoever's the most tired. Like he's that piece. Like he's actually the 12th starter, and like when one of the other 11 needs a break, which is every single game, he starts. Or at least that's what he was at LAFC. Which obviously, he's got like if he were still motivated, if he were still like if I knew that he was in the right mental framework, I would be buying a lot of him. But I just don't know. I've heard so much about like family issues and like not liking the States. But he's been in
really.
like 4 different teams in the US. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't know. I don't know where he's at. I've seen him be like unbelievable. And it's not like he's old. It's not like he's lost a step. So it's a mental thing. And if someone can get him mentally back to where he needs to be, he could be a really good player too. I had no idea he was in Toronto, to be fair.
Yeah, because he's floating around. He was in New England, and then he just kind of it just has and like this is kind of an opportunity for him too going into next year. Something to think about is look, Toronto's breaking it down. They're bare bonesing it. They have an MLS veteran sitting on their team who's floated around going, look, Latif and Osorio in the midfield. Have that be
A
your
really
core,
good
and then build,
midfield.
yeah, which is great, right? So this actually
Yeah.
could be an opportunity for Latif to be like,
They
look,
still have
this is
Sean
my
Johnson,
spot.
right?
Yes,
I mean, Sean Johnson's still around. They've got Insigne. Like,
it's
I mean, they've got some good pieces, and I assume they're going to have some cap space. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I did not realize Latif Blessing was on this team too. That's crazy.
John Herdman's going to do it. He's gonna be the one to turn the Toronto boys. Or is Toronto okay? Realistically, expectations for Toronto, and it's early. A lot of things are going to happen.
Host a playoff game.
Host a playoff game.
Yep.
Hot
Every
takes,
year.
host a playoff game.
Every year, Toronto's expectations will be at least host a playoff game because that's the kind of payroll that they spend. Like they're one of the teams that spend a lot of money in this league. So like they take advantage of the cap really well. And they are going to spend a ton of money on your Insignes. Like no one else on, like there's like 3 other teams in the league that have an Insigne level player, right? There's like maybe Ricky Pooch, I mean Messi, maybe Lucho Acosta. Although
MVP,
I don't
baby.
even think Lucho's on that level, right? Like as if we're talking pure like one-off one player talent, I think Insigne is still a lot better than Lucho. And I mean, we could argue that point, right? He's the MVP. He's on the best team. He's the best player of the best team. But I think would he be one of the top players on a Champions League team? I don't think so. And Insigne was. So
Okay. All right. I mean, I feel like Lucho himself is more of a whatever it takes. I'll do it myself if I have to. And Insigne is like, I may need some people around
yes.
me. May need some service. And
pure talent wise, though, like pure technical ability wise, I think Insigne is better.
Okay.
He has a higher ceiling.
Fair. All right. But you want to talk about spending money and world-class players. We can talk about Barcelona 2.0.
Oh
Okay.
my God. This is going to be so much
And
fun.
Inter Miami with 9 wins and 18 losses, 7 draws.
I can't wait to see Messi in the middle of July in Miami. This is going to be great. Like, is he going to play more than 20 games? That's the question.
Dude, I mean, he walks a lot, so he might not be
That's
that
true.
tired.
He does walk a lot. Oh man.
I love his
don't
explanation
know.
too. It's like, well, if you slow down and walk, you can see the game better. And it's like,
He's not wrong.
wow.
If you really think about it, like the really elite players in the world, they all like walk for a good portion of it.
Yeah.
And you have to build your team around that. Like you can't just like you can't put Ronaldo and Messi together in the same team. It'll never work. You never have the ball because you'd have 8 guys playing defense. But one like number 10 playmaker, you can kind of work around that. DC did that with Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney never ran. I mean, he ran occasionally,
Right.
But only when it was necessary. And then his only job was like going forward. And I think it's something that honestly, I would love to see more people adopt, just like normal players. Like just let somebody like their job is offense. They don't need to play defense. You know what I mean? Like save your energy for when you're bursting down the field the other way. That gives you the extra half step that gets you from, just missing narrowly a chance to getting, a more open chance, and you get that.
And I'm not gonna lie, it's funny that what's it called? That like after he said that too, you almost saw a lot of people kind of start walking. Like you see more people on the pitch kind of slow down. It's like Messi said it, and everyone was like, "Holy smokes, he's onto something!" Like, it's like they just have this revelation. They're like, "Oh my god!"
I mean, he was even doing it as like an 18-year-old kid at Barca. Like, it's not like he does it because he's old. Like, he's been doing this forever.
Here it is. Since you're not in the Discord, so bought that Axel Kai baby. Just had to throw it out there. Shout out the Major League So Rare Discord baby. Shout out to everybody. We in here. But look,
I don't think I got my Axel Kai yet.
Messi walks so that Luis Suarez can run.
Oh god!
Right? That's what we're all. First of all, where's Miami getting all this money? And second of all, is Luis Suarez actually coming to Miami?
If I have concerns at this point about all of these dudes because like you love to see the top end like Busquets, Messi, Alba, all these guys, but it's like you have to like play a full season and travel for a full season, and you're gonna do that with a bunch of 40-year-olds. And you're in Miami. It's not like you're in Kansas City where you're in the middle. You literally have to travel everywhere.
And in the swamp.
You're in the swamp, and it's 1 billion degrees. Like, you guys, like, this would be a great team in 2010 when you're playing against a bunch of nobodies. But, like, there are good players in this league now. Like, and young players. Like, Cucho Hernandez is a good young player. Like, he's a world-class level, like Premier League level, good young player. Like, I mean, you didn't see that in 2010.
But Miami has that too, though. They have a lot of promising young kids. You have Benjamin Kramaski. You have
Kramaski's not
Facunda
bad.
Farias that they just brought in. They brought
Noah
in a lot of
Allen's
pieces.
also not bad. Noah Allen is probably leaving.
You think so?
There was a Tommy Bogert report that said he was on training.
There was a lot of tweets today going out, and there's a lot.
I don't even think it was today, but
dude, it's one of those things where a lot of teams are reporting this weekend. Like I have Tommy Scoops. I have his notifications on Twitter, and all day it was just him going off.
Pull up my screen real quick. These are the 3 tabs that every person in SOAR MLS needs open all the time. Tom Bogert Twitter, SOAR Data, and SOAR itself. Like, this is the holy trinity of tabs right here that you have to have open. I'm trying to find. It said somewhere he was training with somebody.
Well, there's
so many stories in here we could.
While you search this, right? I want to bring something towards you that like really piqued my interest. All right, you have Kamal Miller back there, which I love. Kamal Miller. I hate that he's on this crappy pink team.
He's really good.
I love Kamal Miller, right? But as Miami announced their roster moves, LGP, we all remember LGP from Atlanta United, who's over at River Plate right now. His loan is over at River Plate. They have the option to buy, but this article says that Miami is in talks to bring him back. Could you
That would be
imagine
very
an
interesting.
LGP Kamal Miller back line
A lot of red cards.
in the MLS?
Here it is. It's a
They're
Paul
dangerous.
Tenorio, but Tommy B redid it. 2-week training stint with Stoke and Burnley.
I mean, that's cool, I guess. I mean, DK went over like after the season was over.
I mean,
and did
also like
something
this is a good point. Alba is kind of the starter.
That's true.
So, yeah, there's that.
But think about it. LGP coming, pairing with Kamal Miller.
How are they going to afford all these people?
Okay, look, we're not even going to ask that question at this point.
We do have roster cap rules, at least at this point in the MLS. I mean, they're talking about getting rid of them, but I mean, I don't know if that matters to anyone.
Yeah, I mean, Allen could be out, but dude, look.
To be fair, Kamal Miller I think is pretty cheap, and they're getting a lot of these guys like way cheaper than they maybe like should be, but they're still not like free, you know. Like there's still rules.
I mean, I guess, but look, you got to think the league is changing, and it was always going to change leading into the World Cup. Messi coming just kind of lit that fire under it, and look, it doesn't matter. Miami's going to do what they're going to do. They're going to bring pieces. Is Miami going to win the MLS Cup next year, though, or are they going to fall to heavy legs and they're not going to last the whole season?
No, they're not going to last the whole season.
Really?
I don't think they are.
Not even Messi. Messi can't do it for him.
I mean, let's just see how the roster looks, right? Because it could be an unbelievable roster, and like they could keep everybody, add everybody, and then it'd be like, okay, I mean, this team's just way too deep. It'd be like LAFC a couple of years ago, right? Like they're just way too deep to like even fall off. But they do have to play Champions League. I'm correct in saying that, I believe, right?
Yep.
Because they won Leagues Cup. So they have to go through Champions League. They have to go through the MLS. They have to go through losing half their players to Copa America in the summer for the entire summer. And I don't think MLS takes a break for that. They take a break for the World Cup, but not for, I don't believe, Copa America. Maybe the first like group stage of Copa America, but certainly not. Like Messi is going to be in probably the final or at least the semis of that. So you're already losing Messi for a month. And he's going to be overworked. I just don't know.
In the summer.
There's so many just like ancient players on this team. It's not like these guys are 31. Like it's not like these guys are Insigne.
Right.
And they're like maybe a step past their prime. These guys are like 38, 39. You know, like they are really old.
I think it does come down to what they bring in, the pieces they bring in around them, and how they handle and how they manage minutes. But look, it helps that they have Tata Martino.
Depth is never an MLS thing. Like it's just not.
We're
getting there. We're getting there, but it's not like the teams that have to go through all the competitions always suck.
What are you like? Kind of off topic, but not off topic. What do you think the realistic chances of there actually being a fourth EP next season is? Like realistically, like
no clue. Ask our boy Tommy B. Let's tweet at him right now.
All right, live tweet at him. Hopefully we
Tommy
get a
B. No. I don't know, and I don't know that it makes that big a difference, to be 100% honest with you. Like adding a fourth DP is nice, and it helps teams like Miami, right, that are gonna use it.
Right.
But I don't even think I think like 80% of the teams wouldn't even use it. I think maybe there's like the LAFC, there's Miami, there's I mean, who else is really like
the pressure's there
needing roster space?
Like the pressure is there too now because whatever, say what you will about Messi coming to the MLS, but now there is that pressure for every team to go, okay, Miami's doing this thing. They're spending big. They're taking all the limelight. They're doing this and that. Every club right now is going to get left behind if they don't spend. And not only that, but their fan bases watching them not spend while everybody else is going to also light a fire in the front office. I think that like whether they want to or not, they have to.
you got to realize though that a lot of these teams don't have the money. Like think about DC United. Like they first off they paid no expansion fee. The owners are not billionaires, right?
They are
They're
now.
rich. They're rich dudes, and yeah, they own an MLS franchise, but that's basically all they got. Like it's not like they're Mark Cubans with like $6 billion just lying around. And like the San Diego owner, I think is a billionaire because he had to pay $1 billion expansion fee or $500 million or whatever it was. Some of the newer ones, like St. Louis, has a bunch of money because they had to pay huge expansion fees. But like, and this is a bad example because Arthur Blank owns the Falcons as well. But like Atlanta United paid like $100 million expansion fee. Like that's not like crazy. You're talking about that's your payroll every single year that you have to pay players. Like that's wild. Like that's not a one-time fee if you're talking about like all these different dudes. It's like a lot of these teams don't have owners that can pay that much money. So I think you're going to see less like top end spend. And I think this is what they should do, honestly. Less top end spend, like less on like a fourth DP, for example, and more of like raise the minimum like
was it GAM? I think it is.
Yeah. I mean, so there's GAM and TAM, which are similar. They're related. General
Here we
allocation
go.
money.
No.
Targeted allocation money. And basically you can pay over the like there's a hard limit of like 650K, I think. There it used to be. It might be like 700K now. But anybody over that, you got to pay like GAM or TAM or whatever, or they're a DP. So like I think that limit going up would help a lot, like having that be like $1 million so that you could get guys, you could get your Sergio Busquets who'll play for $1 million a year, but like you can't really do that without using a ton of GAM and TAM. That's how I'm asking how they're affording all these guys, because yes, they're not, even if they're not a DP, there's still like a very hard limit of how much they can make. So
on the table.
Raising on the table, exactly. Raising that level is, I think, what like really precipitates depth in the league, and I think that's really the next step.
All right, so you're saying DP or not, whatever, that's cool, but you're saying raise like the actual floor or the ceiling of what you could pay everybody else to increase the quality around the
exactly.
Which,
that allows you to go get actual quality defenders that aren't trash.
Rising tides lifts all
ships, and to I guess ZM Star's point, academies are also a big way that guys are getting into the league now, and the MLS can basically invest whatever they want into their academies to get the best players, and that's a big deal. And Miami's done a really good job of that, and they're pumping out some good players. So I'm not saying that Miami shouldn't be a playoff team. Like they absolutely probably should be. Like they should have realistically the same kind of expectations as Toronto. Like they should be shooting to host a playoff game. But I don't think it's going to be like a cakewalk and they're just going to roll everybody the entire season. It's just not going to happen. That's welcome to America, where you have to travel 1,000 miles to play every single game.
You have Tata Martino with Messi in there, and it's dangerous for it puts the whole league on notice. They don't care who's around.
I don't think anybody's going to alone. Nobody's going to want to play them in the playoffs at a one-off game.
No,
absolutely not.
Look, I mean, biases aside, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think Miami's going to be a lot of fun this year. It's going to be hopefully
can they keep Drake Callender, because he's big. He's big.
Anybody in that, dude, nobody's leaving right now. You're playing with Messi. It doesn't matter what you're putting everything on hold, and you're playing with Messi for the next 2-3 years. Come on, let's be real. Nobody wants
to get paid $100,000 a year.
You know who doesn't get to play with Messi? Joseph Martinez.
Oh, got him.
Look, you want to know who else pumps out young players at a pretty nice rate? Chicago Fire. The Chicago Fire do. Once again,
that's not where I thought we were going next.
10 wins, 14 losses, 10 draws. About as middle of the meh that you can get. Kai Kamara is out again, searching for a new team on his quest to play for every team in MLS. But they brought Tom Barlow in.
If they keep adding new teams, he's gonna have to keep playing longer and longer to fulfill his mission. Like he's like every year they're like, damn it, they had another team. Now I got to play another year.
At this point, I truly want Kai Kamara to play for every MLS team at this point.
He should, on his last day, he should be ceremonially traded around the league to every single team. And he should get to fly to their place and then put a jersey on and be traded to the next team. It would be great.
Incredible.
Give
I
him the
love
Breck
it.
Shea treatment.
Look, Mueller will be back next year. Hopefully, won't get hurt again. They still got Shaqiri. They got a lot of young people on this team. How are you feeling about the Chicago Fire going into the next year? How do you feel about it this year? I feel like Chicago Fire like the Chicago Bulls. They just keep churning around the middle of nothing and just going nowhere. And they're just stuck.
And you always feel like there's hope, and there's never hope.
There's so much hype behind their players all the time. And like, what is it? Jairo Torres and what's the other young kid?
I mean, Jairo Torres isn't that good though. You know?
But he was hyped up.
Gutierrez is really good, actually.
Gutierrez. I think that's the one I was thinking about.
He's actually pretty good. I'll give them that one.
But most of their
hyped guys aren't really that great. / are good in spurts, but aren't like consistent at all.
And that's a problem.
Yes. When you're playing a full season, that's a problem. So like pieces on their own, like Tehran, like he can be good at times. Brady, he can be good at times. Navarro is good when he's healthy. Shaqiri, hit or miss sometimes. Gutierrez, I think, is pretty good. The fact that Fabian Herbers is still in this team tells you a lot, though. Now, to his credit, he's like a Latif Blessing type of a guy where he can play everywhere, which gives him some value. So I don't think he should be like off the roster, but he's not like a starting caliber player in this league anymore. So I mean, other than that, like, I'm not excited about any of these guys. And Tom Barlow, I'm certainly not excited about. Like, that was the most Chicago Fire move of all time, was to get Tom freaking Barlow. Like, why?
Right.
What does that do for you? That's like bringing Shabilko in. Like, what does that do for you? Like, he sucks. He's terrible. He's like maybe one of the worst guys in the league. Like, what are we doing?
Would you rather Shabilko or Tom Barlow?
I mean, I guess Tom Barlow, but like that doesn't mean that I like him or that I think he's good, you know? He's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on him, but
no.
Look at my man's scores here. I mean, to be fair, he plays like every game. I guess that's a plus. Not exactly good when he plays. He's got a negative average AA score. So that's cool. But it's okay because he scored 5 goals in the last year. That's what you want out of your cam/striker, right? You want 5 goals.
But MLS veteran, he has the experience. He's been around for a little bit.
Who cares? But
no,
honestly,
bro, that's what every team needs.
Honestly, who cares? I mean, he's
the
one positive thing is he's American, so he doesn't take up an international spot. That's it. That's the one positive thing. I don't know how expensive he is. I don't know what his contract is. But he is
dirt cheap, man.
He's at least American. So I guess you don't have to spend an international spot on him, which lovely.
Buddy.
But yes, he is not good.
I mean, what are you going to do?
I don't even know. To be fair, I don't even know if he'd be good in the USL.
Wow.
I don't even know if he'd be good.
Yeah. And you watch a lot of USL.
I do. That's kind of my job. Sometimes.
Look, do you have any? So what? Chicago Fire is going to go out.
Fire will not make the playoffs.
No,
unless they do something crazy. I mean, they could like sign a bunch of guys, but they won't because they're not a well-run organization.
Or they will, and then they just won't hit on them.
Yeah, it'll be like a Shaqiri type where it's like, oh, I kind of know that name a little bit. Like he played in some Champions League, and then he's like, not actually like he wasn't actually good, and nobody really wanted him in the Champions League. It's like, well, I guess that's why. You know,
you want to know who else nobody wants? Wayne Rooney at DC United.
Oh God, this is gonna get ugly.
The DC United, the godfather of DC United himself, MLS card guy, notorious for being a DC United fan. You guys signed Ali McKay. You guys got a new GM. He was the assistant manager at Nashville for the last 5 years. That's a step in the right direction, right? Being as the front office has been.
But we got the assistant from Atlanta, and she was terrible. or at least didn't like
or
nothing
didn't
has
have the
really
money
panned
to
out.
do what she couldn't.
Or didn't have the money. True. Very true. This is what I'm talking about. Like DC, especially DC, because I know that they have no money. Like they can't really spend anything. So like, what are they going to do? Like, hey, let's go sign this player. Oh yeah, we need money to do that. And actual real money and not Garber bucks. Because I'm sure they have plenty of Garber bucks, but that doesn't really help them when they literally don't have enough money to actually sign players. I will say Akinbomi, I think is going to be really good. And I hope he just gets a lot of time, like a lot of development time. I think he's like 16, 15. Oh, he's 17 now. Just turned 17.
Oh, there you
he's
go.
gonna be so good. He is one game, so like that doesn't really matter. But like
Yes.
he's gonna be he's gonna be really good.
Not with that L15, he ain't. That's like the worst thing that could have happened to the one game that he played.
Look, I don't care about the L15 because like 15 games from now, he's still probably not going to be that good. But like eventually, he's going to get there. Cleach is good. I don't know. I honestly have not even looked at who they're keeping and who they're not keeping. But Cleach is like a good piece.
They don't even know, to be honest. Let's be real.
Why does that not surprise me? QDPH is okay. Jackson Hopkins is okay. Your boy Ruan.
Huan.
Derek Williams was terrible at the LA Galaxy, and we paid a lot to get him and are paying him a lot. And he is like not even good now either. Andy Nahar, I know, is gone because I just saw that today. That Nahar won't be back, which is sad because like he has
their best players.
Yeah, he has potential, but he gets hurt so often.
Don't love that.
Yeah, there's not a lot to like about this team. Let's be honest; they're gonna be really hard pressed to make the playoffs.
I literally like
a bit of a miracle if they make the playoffs.
And everything I have written down, I just have DC United. Oh boy, Chris, that's all I have written down because oh boy, I don't. What do you say about DC United right now? Like the front office is in shambles. Rooney left before the season was even over, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'm out." Like deuces. Like
for the second time. Yes. He figured out that he really doesn't like it. Even when he's in charge, he doesn't like it.
Because didn't he leave the first time going, I don't like it here. My family doesn't like it here. Like, this sucks. I'm leaving.
That was the reason. And then he came back and everyone's like, oh my God, what a hire. And I was like, I don't think he likes it, guys. Like, I don't believe it. I don't buy it. And he lasted like a half a season. And here we are. Again, getting to go. And probably going to get one of the worst coaches in the league because that's all we can afford, you know?
Yeah.
The great days of DC are long over.
Yeah, they are. Maybe one day. I don't know.
Maybe one day. Here's what could happen, right? One day, MLS is going to split into two divisions and do promotion relegation within the two divisions. DC will immediately go down because they're terrible.
Obviously, have to.
And then Ryan Reynolds will figure out, oh, here's an investment opportunity, buy the club, and then do a documentary style about them moving back up through the division.
All right.
That's a great idea.
I'm going to go ahead and say that NYCFC probably has a better chance of that happening, being that they are in Citigroup. Tyus Magno, round 3, third time's the charm.
He's coming back.
No, he's coming back.
He's coming back.
Look, we found out last week
wait.
you are a collector of this NYCFC team. So give us the rundown. What are you looking at? Who are you looking at? What do they got to do to bring in around Tyus Magno to make it possible for Tyus Magno to do Tyus Magno
things? They got to get a freaking striker, man. Like, don't play him at striker.
Maxi Morales.
Yeah, he's not a striker either. So don't bring him in. Yeah, Santi Rodriguez back. Love him. I hope he's back anyway. I don't know. I haven't looked at who's back and who's not back. I think Morales is gone, right? Morales is gone.
Should be.
Thiago Martins is back, right?
As of right now, yes.
Okay.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's a decent piece back in the back. I think they are going to have resources available to them. And I think that they are going to make some moves. And this roster is going to look very different by the time we get to next spring.
You think so?
And I think they're going to be a decent team again. With them building the stadium in New York, like
Eventually.
I mean, it's not going to be quick, which is fine. And being in Citigroup, I think this is eventually going to be one of the better teams in the MLS. So I'm just going to buy low, buy the stock low because it can't get any lower.
Yeah,
Can't
I
get
feel
to
like
DC level, you know?
NYCFC is one of those teams that always kind of sticks around, right? They've never
Yeah.
really had too many slumps in the MLS. Yeah, and it blows my mind that some of the talent that they don't always get isn't better because of the Citigroup pipeline. Why wouldn't Citigroup just literally the pipeline from what is it, like South America? I think they have some stuff that like
Yeah.
just run them all the way through and just run
Yokohama
them back and forth.
Marinos. They have a team in Japan.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have City.
Do the baseball system, the little AAA, AA, have your little system, just like send them up and down, and then you just do your thing.
That's not always the best for the actual like Red Bulls, New York Red Bulls. Like I feel like they've been hampered a little bit by being in the Red Bull system because they haven't really gotten anybody, but they've lost their best players to like the bigger teams.
That's true. Yeah.
Kind of the one saving grace is that like I don't think Man City has another team in Europe that's like sort of lower than them. That's like they're obviously like winning the Champions League level like talent.
Right.
So like going from MLS to that is like a huge jump, right? Whereas Red Bull can go Red Bull Salzburg, they can go Red Bull Leipzig. Like they got
isn't
bunch of
Girona in
teams.
Citigroup? Because that's why Tati went there, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe they are. Maybe they are. I think they have a team in Spain too. Maybe
that's
now that I
Girona.
think about it. Oh no, that is Girona.
Yeah.
They have a team in Italy then.
Maybe.
I don't know. Think about it. I don't know. But regardless, maybe they can get Tati Castellanos back. That'd be huge. It has not worked out for him. So,
but he banged 4 against Real Madrid.
And I saw him play in the Champions League, and they called him Valentin Castellanos, and I was like, he needs to come back because his name is not Valentin.
That's it. Bring him back.
Yeah,
that's it.
If I saw that broadcast, I'd be like, nope, going back. My name's Tati.
Listen, it is what it is. I won't respect NYCFC until they don't play in a baseball stadium.
Yes.
Because you know what? My favorite part is
in a non-baseball stadium.
Yeah, I'll believe when I see it. But the best part about it is
Pep Guardiola will retire to NYCFC.
Okay, now you're drunk, sir. Please go home.
I
love when NYCFC doesn't play at Yankee Stadium. So they're like, oh, we got to play off-site somewhere else. So they just move them to a different baseball stadium.
Let's play
instead of putting them like on a soccer field. They're like, you know what? Oh, you can't play at your baseball stadium? Come borrow this other baseball stadium.
There are no baseball.
Love that.
There are no soccer pitches in New York. None. 0.
You know who's gonna love that? Everybody. Everybody's gonna love that. It's a small pitch. What could go wrong?
Yes.
I don't know. NYCFC, they're kind of bitter rivals, so I don't really pay much attention.
I feel like you should talk about Orlando because I have to go get some groceries. Talk about Orlando, and then I'll come back and make fun of you.
This guy's gonna make me do it. All right. Look, we're here. If you're gonna get it, this guy ordered groceries in the middle of a show and has to go bring them inside. Look, you guys want to talk about Orlando City? All right, Chris, you're gonna have to come back and listen to this at some point. This is what went down. Okay, it was awful. I am so upset. I am incredibly upset. It didn't go the way we wanted to. Atlanta United had one job. They had one job. You guys had one job. All we wanted was to not play Columbus in the playoffs. And what did we do? We got Columbus. We did okay. We held them, right? We held them full time, 0-0. We did our job. Poppy ball special. Sit back. Don't play attacking. We look terrible. And, they got the best of us in extra time. When Orlando decided they did want to score, we put ourselves out there and it bit us in the butt. And we got bossed around the midfield. Aiden Morris bossed our defensive midfielders around. We missed all our chances. And Gulo, too many touches in front of the box. Can't score the dang ball. Ojeda, nice look. Tough shot. That was the one time that we had the chance to win the game. We crashed out. We crashed out hard. We peaked too early before the beginning of the season. And guess what? Now that Chris is back, I could blame it on the fact that we waited 3 weeks for that game to happen. And that's why we lost. That is why we lost.
Or you could blame it on the fact that I called it and Columbus is better. Just saying. Dude, Columbus has Diego Rossi and Cucho. What are you gonna do? They're too good.
Yeah.
They're gonna beat
Well,
Cincy too.
yeah. Oh, dude. Talk about
That's gonna be
Cincy.
a
Cincy's
great
in
game.
trouble.
That's gonna be a great game, but I think they're gonna win.
Yeah, no, we got outplayed on the night. We really did. Columbus did what they had to do. Columbus took it at us. Schlegel was always going to Schlegel. Honestly, once Schlegel got that yellow card early, I was like, "That's it. He's getting sent off."
Oh yeah, I did too.
It was immediate. It was like, "Oh, that's not good."
This is one of those Thanos memes. I am inevitable. What do you think about? What do you think about this report from our good friend Tommy Scoops?
I mean, it was known earlier in the year that what is it, Anderlecht, I think, was looking at him. There was people at the game looking at him. Good. Maybe that's why he played a stinker. He didn't want to leave yet. And he was like, well, if I play good, then they'll sell me for sure. So he wanted to stay home in Orlando for a little bit.
That's true.
I don't know, man. I really Antonio Carlos is gone.
Yep.
Mauricio Pereira is gone.
Yep. Oscar Pereira, maybe?
I say run it back. Look, you can go back. There's receipts on this show. I said I wasn't Poppy out. The only way I'll be Poppy out, two things had to happen. We crashed out of Open Cup and we crashed out of Leagues Cup. We crashed out of Open Cup. That was like
both of those things.
We didn't crash out of Leagues Cup, okay? All right.
Did you win Leagues Cup?
No, but we didn't crash out of it. We got out of the groups and we took it to Messi. And the refs lost us that game. We didn't lose ourselves. So I'm okay with it. And we fought back and we left that and then just like literally took the league by storm. So I am
What about
run it back.
What about Facundo Torres? You gonna stick around?
I want to say we sell him.
I think so too.
I think there's a chance he stays. But I'm more in the camp that we sell him. It doesn't make sense to have Ojeda sitting on the bench. Clearly, they can't play together. We have Ojeda lined up. Ojeda looks like he'll be just fine. If it's Facu's time to go, it's his time to go. If not, I mean, cool. We only played with one DP this year anyway, so like, what's the difference? Yeah, he's most likely gone. The offers are there. I don't know if they just move on him and then just continue to build on what we got. And Gulo, I mean, there's the option to buy.
Did you like Angulo? Do you think Angulo's good? Or does he just like very Kevin Cabral like?
First of all, don't compare my man to Kevin Cabral. Second of all,
I'm asking the question, you know?
I do think he's good. He is just very indecisive in front of the box, takes too many touches, takes too many bad touches. Doesn't just shoot the ball when he should. Just kind of makes his decision making in the final third is just horrendous and it's awful. But he makes the right runs, he stays on side, he gets where he needs to be. And it's not even because when he is on target, like they go in. His shot is actually nice. It's his decision making leading to him taking the shot that's not so nice. But then we have Gaston Gonzalez behind him, which like showed flashes too, but he never really got the chance to shine.
Yeah.
But Gaston's more of a run up and like put in those early crosses, which Angulo's more like cut inside and do your thing in the box, where Gaston's like so. And
he's a winger.
Yeah, and once we got rid of Cara, like there was really no use for Gaston to do that. So it'll be interesting. Look, it was a great season overall. Orlando City, incredible season. It was the best season we ever had. It was the ride of my life. It started off terrible. It ended great. This was our chance to win a cup, and I don't think we'll get close anytime soon.
What's the expectation for next year?
Home playoff.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm dead serious. I say run it back, bring in some newer pieces, maybe try another number 9 DP, and I want a 10. I've been out on Pereira since last year.
I guess Torres is kind of more of a winger, but he has that like hold the ball type of a 10 sort of a 10 role, you know?
I think it could work. There was a lot of times this season where they did go to Facu as the 10 and then had kind of Ojeda and Angulo running around him. And that did work. But the thing is that all three of them have the tendency to take up the same space.
Right.
And that's where it doesn't work. Or
You
it's
need
like
wingers at that point.
yes, you
Yeah.
need actual wingers that they all like to cut in, which
Right.
is why it never worked and why they could never really play it, because they just clog the middle and then just nothing's getting done on the overlaps. Because then we're just exposed. Nobody's happy. Everyone's pointing at their feet and the ball's going the other way. Good old Poppy Pareja ball. Yeah.
I to be fair, I think expectations should be more like playoffs, not host a playoff. I think like
You think so?
5 to 6, 5 to 7, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Look,
That's what, because
we will.
Columbus is going to be dirty. Miami's going to be probably pretty good. I think Toronto's going to be back. Cincy's going to be a force. Philly is going to have a lot of roster turnover, but they're going
to regress. I don't think
they are going to
Philly's
regress to some degree. But Jim Curtin's also really good. So if there's someone who can outperform their talent, it's Philly.
Let's talk about it, though, because it was clear that without what's his face, him who shall not be named because the season's over now anyway. Without him, their like whole play style and their whole like everything just non-existent. And their defense isn't, what is it? Is it Gazdag that's almost out too, I think? Because Bedoya doesn't really do much. Like, he wasn't really playing anyway. Bedoya leaving doesn't really matter anyway.
Yeah, Bedoya is fine. He's more or less depth at this point. Carranza being gone could open up Quinn Sullivan a little bit more.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like, they've got some of these pieces that are going to plug and play into the starting lineup. And it's like, well, are they really going to be that much worse? Like, yes, Kai Wagner's gone, but like Harriel and Biza are two pretty darn good fullbacks, you know? Like Blake didn't have a great season, but he's still Andre Blake. I mean, Jack McGlynn is only getting better and better.
But is he still going to be here?
They can hold on to him. I mean, they've got some pieces that are really not bad. And yes, they're going to lose some stuff, but they've lost stuff before and replaced it. So to some degree, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt until they prove that they can't replace it.
I mean, Philly is always going to. My thing with Philly is that, like, it's not just that, like, they won't be good. Because, yes, they have pieces in. They've been slotting in and out all season. They can get it done on the pitch. My thing is, their consistency, like, their high floor is no longer that high floor. And that's going to keep them from being a home team kind of favorite by the end of the season. Where that consistency, their ability to pull games out, hold on to leads, like do it when it matters. A lot of those players, the older ones, are kind of moving on. They're match winners. They're going to have a lot of younger guys, may not have the execution to like really get it done the way they do now.
They're going to supplement those guys that move on. They're getting something for a lot of them. So like,
that's fine.
They're going to supplement this roster. It
doesn't mean it's going to work.
It's not going to just be these guys. And like, Philly has proven over and over again that they can bring in really talented guys. Remember, Julian Carranza was at Miami before this, and he sucked. Like, they've brought Ure out of God knows where. I don't even remember where he was playing before. He was somewhere in Europe, but it's not like he was from a big team or this really hyped player. Kai Wagner was at some German club. He wasn't like super hyped or anything like that. Like
Jose Martinez.
Even like Jack Elliott Glesnes were like the replacements for McKenzie, who went off to Europe, and Aronson went off to Europe, and like all these guys left. And it was like, well, we're still just like great. Like, who cares? Because we have Jim freaking Curtin, and he's a god of coaching. And they have a front office that gets him the right pieces. So like, that's the kind of thing, like, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt until, I mean, and they could always have a bad season. Like, everybody has bad seasons, you know? But until they prove that they don't deserve the respect, I'm going to give them the respect, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not going to say that they shouldn't make the playoffs next year, because I think they should make the playoffs next year. I don't see why not. Even given all the turnover that they should have. And like that 3-4 fighting for home playoff type of a spot, I don't think is out of the question.
Okay, well, fair. I'll give it to you.
Problem is there's a bunch of teams like that.
Okay, so what if Jim Curtin leaves? What if he goes and coaches the national team?
Curtin leaves, then we're screwed. Oh man,
I take it all back.
Maybe they'll get Pat Noonan back from Cincy or something. I don't know, but yeah, I'm a big believer in coaching, and like Jim Curtin has proven not only that he can develop Pat Noonan into a pretty darn good coach over in Cincinnati as well. And that's the same model. Like that's the since he is Philly, like they're the same mindset and like they're the same like management theories. So like, yeah, he's the OG. Like, you don't doubt my man.
And hey, let's be real. You know dang well that Philly has some kids in the pipeline that we don't know yet. They're just like
I mean,
itching
someone
for a
asked
spot.
Tommy Bogart about Caven Sullivan, and like he's really young and he's probably still a couple years away, but like he's probably going to end up being pretty good. Like even if they have one bad year, like the next year is probably going to be just fine. So
I'm sure there's another Aronson in the pipeline too, probably, huh? I guarantee it. There's another Aronson somewhere in that Philly academy.
That's what we always thought about Dallas. Now Dallas hasn't pumped out like a really good prospect in a couple of years. So, these things come and go.
How do you feel about the Montreal Impact?
Wait, who is that?
The better names.
I know Club de Foot Montreal.
No. Okay.
But I don't. What's an impact? What do you mean?
They're impacting the game of soccer through the lives of people in Canada.
What is soccer? Doing. I know Club de Foot. What is this soccer thing? Hey, Montreal.
Montreal, baby.
Yikes.
They kind of looked good. They got rid of Nance, and now look at what Nance's doing. Saputo can't keep nobody. They play coach roulette because I don't for whatever reason, I don't know why. But they made some moves. They're not quite there yet. Opoku's really fun.
Opoku's pretty good. I don't know if he can do it by himself. I think Campbell can be like pretty good. Waterman is actually super underrated, to be fair. Like no one ever talks about Joel Waterman, but like he came from like the Canadian Premier League or something, and he's just like he dominates all the time. I don't know. There's just not much else. Herrera, like, boy, did Aaron Herrera underperform this year.
Dude, you loved Aaron Herrera, boy.
He was so good at RSL, and he was going into that Julian Gressel role in Losada's system, and boy, did he suck at it. I mean, he did have an injury swath here, but like he wasn't even the starter for half the season. And even when he was the starter, he wasn't like performing. I mean, a 46-3 isn't terrible, I guess, but only 2 assists, man. Like, come on. What are we doing? And like you look at his time at RSL, and he was a freaking monster over here.
You remember going into the season, we were like, Aaron Herrera, Mason Toy.
Yeah, Mason Toy is another
great. They got Bryce Duke now.
Yeah, Bryce Duke's good. Yeah,
bet you he's upset he's not in Miami anymore. Yikes.
Well, he got traded after the Messi thing, right?
No, he traded before.
Oh, I guess they traded him to like make room for.
Yeah, they traded him because they knew Messi was coming.
All the people coming.
Can you imagine? Be like, you got traded, you have no idea why, and then you're like, oh, Messi's going to. Oh,
you're on the worst team in the MLS, and you get traded to a team that's in playoff contention. You're like, oh yeah, that's awesome, and then that team gets Messi. Like, oh man, what a roller coaster of emotions.
Do you think with the right moves, the right pieces, Montreal has any fighting chance next year, or you think they're still another year away after being gutted?
Do they have a chance if they make the right moves? Yes. Are they going to make the right moves? No. Yes. Remember how we said coaching matters? Montreal doesn't believe that. Montreal believes in having somebody. I mean, I could probably apply to be the coach there at this point. And yeah. I don't think it's going to work out very well for them. They're just going to keep rolling through people. And like the roster is not actually that bad, to be fair. But I just have no faith. I have no faith that they're going to like put it all together. Just how I said, like Philly has earned respect, and until they lose that respect, they're going to have it. Montreal has earned the disrespect. And until they earn their way back into the light, they're gonna like. I think they've only made like 2 playoffs in their entire history, and I think they lost to Toronto both times. Something like that. Right. Something like that.
Sounds about.
And they've been a team since like 2012. It's not like the newer teams. Oh man! Shout out from our guy Bob Flynn. What's up, Bobby?
Oh.
Hey!
Oh, came in at a perfect time. You know why?
Blast from the past, my guys.
Came at the perfect time because we are gonna bring up the Charlotte FC for the crown,
Oh
baby.
man, for
Sir
the
Minty
crown.
himself. Latancio out. Swiderski maybe out, probably more likely than not. But Charlotte out of nowhere with a bunch of young talent coming through the ranks. Shout out also Trip and B, which I'm sure we'll have him on at some point to do some Charlotte deep dive. But Patrick, Ajiman, Kerwin Vargas, Malanda on the back line. There are some fun little young pieces coming through the pipeline at Charlotte FC. Chris, without making Trippin too mad, how do you feel about Charlotte FC?
I mean, Kerwin Vargas isn't bad.
I like Kerwin
guess.
Vargas. Dude,
What else do they have again? Exactly.
Patrick Ajiman, dude, he's a fun little player. I don't know how much you watched Charlotte.
I mean, I don't.
Malanda on the back line. Christian Kalina was the kind of the GOAT.
Kalina?
Yes.
It's not good,
Kalina came
man.
in clutch a lot of times this season. I don't know
Kalina's
how.
not-
I don't know where.
Kalina's not
I
good.
played him uncomfortably many times, and he always came through. Bob Flynn agrees. Big Pat is a boss.
Like, look
Telling
at
you.
this top minutes played, right? Kalina, okay. Privet, I don't even know who that is. Malanda, he's okay. Westwood is okay. Bronico has his moments, and like if in the right spot, he's okay. Like, we're talking about a league with like Messi, Busquets, Suarez, and then you're gonna throw at me like Nathan Byrne and Brant Bronico
And Ben Bender.
Oh my God, Ben Bender! He's back on the Ben Bender train.
He never left it, baby. He never left it.
He had 475 minutes this year. Yeah, I mean he did get hurt at the end. He look at that. He started and got 0 AA the entire time he started. Yeah, I'm not a big Benny Bender guy. Even though he had an incredible first game or whatever debut, whatever it was.
Realistically, though, Charlotte wasn't too far off. I don't like Charlotte. You watch Charlotte and you're like,
and I don't know how. Like,
but
I feel like they overperformed so hard.
I feel like it wasn't good and it wasn't bad. It was just like, you guys are there.
Yes,
you'll figure it out eventually. You'll get there.
It reminds me a lot of a team from like 2015, where it's like they're all like solid players, but like you don't know who any of them are. You know?
Yep.
Like none of them stand out, and they're like, oh my God, this is like one of the best teams ever. Yeah, I don't know. You're
not a believer.
Just like Montreal, right? Prove me wrong. Make the playoffs, earn some respect, and then I'll be on board. Till I see it, it's one of those like, could they make the right moves and be decent? Yeah, probably. Like
anybody can.
Probably have enough, like, they probably have enough like oomph to the roster if they add a bunch of pieces.
Don't win games like that.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. I was wrong on St. Louis, but I was also right on Charlotte the first year. So
that's fair. Look, Charlotte, they're a fine up and coming team.
I mean, the 8-9 game is not the playoffs. Okay, Flynn. The 8-9 game, you were like 9th, right? Or 8th, maybe. I don't know. That's not a playoff spot. Okay, you have to actually win to make the playoffs. If you didn't play a best of 3, you weren't in a playoff.
All right, listen.
And you weren't even particularly close in the one game either.
I don't care where you're listening, how you're watching, whatever it is. Comment wherever you're listening to. Let us know, is the play-in game in whatever sport it is, the makeup, the wild card, is that considered a playoff game? Yes or no? Let us know.
It depends. Depends on the sport.
You're playing into the playoffs.
MLB, the wild card is like a spot because like you're actually in the playoff bracket at that point. Whereas this was a play-in game. Like, think about the NCAA tournament in March Madness. Like the first 4, that's play-in. You're not in the tournament yet. Like you have to play your way in.
Is that a play-in or a playoff? I think they're play-ins.
What?
They're all play-ins. Wild cards included.
It was the same one, right? 8-9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, then it's not. It's not a playoff. You can't be the 8 seed.
No.
You can't be the 8 seed and make the playoffs and host a game. Like, that's not how this works. You didn't make the playoffs at that point. You're hosting the play-in game.
Oh man. You know who didn't get to host a playoff game, though? because of this new format was the New York Red Bulls. They almost won a playoff game.
Now,
too.
here's a team that deserved a playoff spot.
Did they? Listen, the New York Red Bulls have been
beat
shambles.
Charlotte.
I don't know what they're going to do now that they got rid of Tom Barlow. Like, that was it.
That's true. There goes the offense.
There goes their offense.
Fudge McNuggets. We're going to have to play Kyle Duncan now.
Is John Tolkien going to be here next year?
No.
Is the question of the night.
I say like 0.1% chance. Like, why would he stay at this point? He has literally nothing to prove. And he is like the only offense they have. I mean, Edelman is actually a decent young player.
I like
but he's
Edelman.
like a CDM, man. Like, he can't create. Like, he's not an attacking mid.
The peak scores aren't there, is what I think.
Luquinhas actually has some moments where I'm like, that guy could be decent.
He's a bum.
Everybody else on their roster is terrible. Well, Sergio Goma could be good eventually. Everybody else is terrible.
I don't mind Omir Fernandez, man. Omir Fernandez had kind of a good season.
Nope. Don't buy any of them. None of them.
Come on. None of them? You were down bad on this Red Bulls team, huh?
None of them.
He had a nice summer. Omir Fernandez had a nice summer.
AA.
I don't care. Look at all the green scores.
It's like 2 games, man.
That's summer, baby. That's it. That's all we got. Summer was like 2 games. I won things
for
like
July
2 weeks.
4th weekend, and that was basically it.
I literally won rewards for like 2 weeks, and they were like, "Ha, joke's on you. Europe's back." Like, oh, okay, all right, I guess.
Yeah, summer was kind of short this year. It felt like
this
is what I expect though from Omir Fernandez. This is normal, I think.
Look, man. Hey, look, it's the MLS.
I've never seen him be like.
It's very hard to get consistent high scores, right?
Look at
this. You get like 1 per team, if that.
Does this look like a good player to you? Yes, 2 good games back to back. 2 out of 3 good games right there. Cap mode.
Cap mode.
He doesn't score enough goals for cap mode. I mean, we're talking over 100 games. He only scored 20 goals. That's not enough for cap mode.
I'm a less negative guy. Coming at me always.
Against the Red Bulls? Oh, yeah.
Dude, why are you so?
I can why are you so?
All right.
DC and the Red Bulls are rivals, man. Like, come on. What are we talking about here?
Okay.
The only good Red Bull of all time is Aaron Long.
Dax McCarty.
Tyler Adams. Other than that, everybody else has been terrible.
Thierry Henry.
Yes, but he was good in Europe, though.
Sasha Kljestan.
Like, he wasn't good because of the Red Bulls. Sasha Kljestan. I don't know if Sasha Kljestan was that good, to be fair.
Oh man, talk about the old school glory days.
I don't like the Red Bulls at all.
Are the Red Bulls ever going to come back?
No, I hope not. I hope they stay dead and buried.
Okay, what about Carlos
under a
Cornell,
burning bridge? Cornell's not
on
bad,
the Cornell train.
To be fair. Yeah,
you like Cornell?
Yeah, I could see if Tolkien does stay. I could see a Cornell Tolkien little
that'd be fun.
There.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We might get burned. I feel like at the beginning of this past season, we were all like, "Oh, Tolkien's gone. Got to let him go. No Tolkien." And then all of a sudden,
I bought one week 1 because I was like, "He's still here."
Yep. Come the end of the year.
It was like one of the very few things I bought at the preseason. It's like, oh my
he's
god,
still here. He is still here, but is Thiago Almada still going to be here at Atlanta United? Man. Is Miles Robinson still going to be here at Atlanta United?
He is not. He's leaving for sure.
Is Brad Guzan still going to be at Atlanta United?
Because I just got a Goozy. That's why. He's coming back. Goozy's coming back. I don't know. I feel like this team could be good. This is another one of those teams. This is another one of those teams that has like that talent that like has to prove it, you know?
Don't tell anybody, but I think Atlanta United next year is going to be super dangerous. And I'm not excited.
You think that every year, though. That's
I don't. No, I am normally like
really
down with Atlanta. Yeah, especially the past couple of years. Listen,
interesting.
I unwillingly watch Atlanta way too much, for reasons, obviously. And these past couple of years have been really nice to know that, like, there is nothing to worry about when it came to Atlanta. Now, it's like, things are gonna get a little spicy again. I feel like the rivalry is gonna cook up again. It's gonna get a little spicy. Sean De Silva, whose loan is expired, but they're in talks. It's not official, but he's there. You had Saba, you had Tristan Muyumba, you Giakoumakis and Almada for maybe at least half a season.
And Caleb Wiley and Brooks Lennon.
Brooks Lennon's coming back. Like, this team is kind of fun.
If Guzan cannot trip and tear his ACL next year, they'd be pretty good. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of think Atlanta should be good like most years. Like, the talent that they have is generally pretty good. And they continue to just like underperform expectations. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they finished in the top 4 and got a home playoff game, but I'm not going to pick them to because they have to prove it first.
I'll never pick them to do good, but
my eyes.
No, and like even if Almada stays till the summer, he could get them in a really good spot to where, if they kind of fell off a little bit and kind of crawled into the playoffs, they could still maybe do something. But this team's gonna be fun, man. I really think it is. It's gonna be one of those things where they started off the year rough. They kind of got it together. They made some moves. They started to look nice. Sure, it kind of fell off, whatever, but get them together for a whole offseason, a whole preseason, do this whole thing, work in the system and in their brains. Buddy, if this team starts clicking.
Here's the question, though. How do you replace Miles Robinson? He is not that expensive. He's American, so he doesn't take up an international spot. Like, he is very much like irreplaceable at that talent level. So how do they do that without blowing up the roster?
I don't think it matters too much because he missed a bunch because of injury anyway. Even when
Correct.
he did come
back,
they
weren't good.
And he wasn't that great when he came back either. It wasn't towards the end of the season that he started to be okay. But, dude, right when he came back, he wasn't all that great either.
He came back and he was pretty good for he was at the Gold Cup and then he came back and then he was pretty decent there for a few games.
A few.
He wasn't great in this area in May. For sure.
Look, is it going to be a hit for them? Like, is it going to be a hit as in losing a leader on the back line? Yes. Defensively, are they going to struggle kind of getting that back, especially with whether it's Guzan or another keeper anyway? Like, they're defensively, they're going to be really shaky. But it's going to be one of those things where so is Columbus at the beginning of the season. They figured it out after Leagues Cup how to get their defense a little bit better. Schulte stood on his head the other night.
Has Columbus figured it out? Schulte
better than it was.
3 good saves. Man.
Okay, but it's better than it was. Like leading into Leagues Cup, it was looking rough. They got a little solid at the back, right? And they figured it out. Look, Atlanta, are there going to be defensive woes at the beginning of the season when Miles is gone? Yes. Do I think it'll be enough to be like, oh, this team is bad or they're in trouble? I don't think so. I think they'll be fine.
But Columbus wasn't like they were like 5 or 6 for most of the year and just made a good run towards the end.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're going to have the attack to get them through games, whether the defense is shaky or not. That's basically what I'm saying.
But your attack is not consistent.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So this is
right
like Columbus,
now,
right? This
right
is Columbus.
now.
This is Columbus, right? Who of these defenders are you actually like afraid of, or like actually think is pretty good?
Rudy.
I mean, even Camacho's not like
Camacho's a dog.
Great. He's okay.
He's a dog.
He's a solid player.
That's the only one.
But like none of these other guys are any good. If they had any resemblance of a defense, this is the difference between Cincy and Columbus.
And they're about to win MLS Cup. Exactly. That's proving the point.
Well,
that even if Atlanta loses defensively a little bit, doesn't mean that they can't just go off.
It's because they're hot and because they have Cucho and Diego Rossi and Nagby and Aiden Morris and Julian Gressel. And it's like they have so many weapons.
They don't even use Gressel.
They don't use Gressel that much, but they still have him.
Warmer.
They still have him if they need him.
As a favor. He's not going to be there next year.
I mean, even Matan is really not bad going forward. But like Nagby, who on Atlanta is as good as Nagby and Morris in the midfield? They don't have anywhere near this good midfield. Cucho and Rossi are very similar to Almada and Giakoumakis. Like you're downgrading at
midfield. Better. Columbus is way better than Giakoumakis. Giakoumakis doesn't stand anywhere near Rossi or Cucho.
That's it. I don't know. That's a debate. I think I'd probably take Rossi Cucho but like not by a lot. You know,
Really? See,
Yakamaka Salamata is really damn good.
really? No, I really
Yeah.
think I don't even think it's close. I think Diego Rossi and Cucho together are way better than Thiago and Giacomakis.
I don't know. How to spell
I'm actually kind of shocked you feel that way, to be honest. I am shooketh, good sir.
that. I'm shook.
I
You'd
I have
scored
been
20
shooketh.
goals this year.
Who?
Yakimakis.
Yeah, that's fine.
He
Yeah.
scored anything for Greece?
What?
I don't know. He didn't start playing. He didn't even play the first 4 games, roughly.
And he had some injury woes for sure.
He missed a few games. He subbed a few games. Like, look at all these sub appearances and missed games. And
Listen, I'm gonna pull up the receipts from a
still
few
had-
I'm gonna pull up the
still had
receipts from a
20
few weeks
goals.
ago, and I was like, "Oh, what about Gigi?" And you were like, "I don't think he's
19
that
and 2.
good." Now you're like, "Oh, Gigi's great. He's better than Cucho and Rossi."
I didn't say better. No.
Brother.
I said the two of them together are close. Okay. I still think I'd take Cucho, but I think it's like a thought. Like I have to think about it.
All right, you know what? Maybe we'll do a little deeper dive. We'll get some polls. We'll get some people's opinions in here, and we'll make a graphic. That's what we'll do.
Graphics. Dun dun dun.
All right, we got 2 teams left. We got Nashville
Ew.
SC. Rest in peace. Dax McCarty, gone.
Bye bye.
Fafa Pico,
Bye bye.
gone. But as of right now, Chris, the people have been wondering. The people have been asking. We now have our answer. Joe Willis is
back.
still on this roster, baby.
He's back, baby.
Move over, Pinocchio. Not
Honestly,
this time.
Dax McCarthy, Fafa Pico. This is gonna be rigged really, really harsh.
Oh no.
It's kind of addition by subtraction. They kind of get better when they lose those 2 guys.
Because they have Schaffelberg and Sean Davis.
Yes.
Is it Schaffelberg season? Is the real question. Chris?
No, well, Sower wise, no, because I don't think he's good Sower wise. He basically has to score goals, and I don't think he's gonna score like 15, 20 goals. I think he's like a 7 to 8 kind of goal guy, even if he starts the whole game. Sean Davis, on the other hand, very good player.
Love Sean Davis.
Puts up consistent like mid-50s all the time. It's incredible.
And he can score goals and assists too.
So you get rid of McCarthy, you get rid of Fafa Pico, and I think that gives you like more resources to go out and get some stuff. And they still haven't found like how good was Surge this year? Did he work at all?
No. Yes and no. Okay.
He had like a few. He had goals and sub appearances at the beginning, and then nothing.
So Surridge, I think he suffered from the Nashville system, where he wasn't the greatest on like counterattacks and breakaways. But when you did have them control the ball a little bit and then play around the box, it did look better. He did look dangerous. He also had a lot of like big chances missed.
Right.
Could have been some woes at the beginning, getting adjusted with the league. He showed flashes. It looked nice at some points. Could be nice next year. The question is still up in the air.
I'm always one to give guys like 6 months to get adjusted to the league and see what happens in the second year. Because like think about who was it that had a monster like second half and then went crazy from someone from Austin. I don't remember. Somebody one of the transfers that they had was like okay. Was it Driussi?
No.
He was like
Driussi started.
He was like pretty good for the first 6 months, and then like they were like second in the league the second year. Let me see where he started.
I don't know. It's the David Goss theorem. All right. It is. Shout out extra time. You know, it's one of those things where, hey, you got to give these guys some time to adjust to the league, do their thing, and then go from there. And I think that's something that's regardless of Sam Surridge is going to be one of those buy low in the offseason because it could pay off.
Yeah.
And you'd kind of rather be on that train than be sad that you missed it, is kind
Right.
of the way I see it. Because if Nashville does do the right things, changes some things, because obviously the Nashville it just ain't working anymore. All right, they got hot during Leafs Cup, they had a run, they were like, wow, look at Nashville, and then we just never saw that Nashville again.
It's the double-edged sword. When Mukhtar takes over, they're unstoppable because he is the offense and everybody else can play defense. It's like the reverse Messi. Like he well, I guess it is the Messi.
Yeah.
Messi just takes over the game. He's kind of mini Messi.
Messi just does it more.
He does it more and more consistently. Although Mukhtar is pretty darn consistent, to be fair, for this league.
I mean, that final was fun.
But like nobody is going to be on all the time, even Messi. So if that is your entire game plan and one player is your entire offense, you are going to have some struggles.
If you want my my shout out for one of next seasons, like forward wise, I think Sam Surridge. It's one of those get on the boat while you can, while it's cheap. Because if it does work out, dang, he's going to be scoring goals. If it doesn't work out, well, he got in cheap, and they don't always work.
What about Hani Mukhtar?
Listen, man, I love Hani. I want Hani to play in Orlando so bad. Can we just sign Hani as a DP? Can we steal a DP? DP for DP? Come on, nah.
Would you trade him for Facu?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, in a heartbeat.
Even though Mukhtar's 28 and you'll never get anything out of him, selling him last.
Yeah, it's fine. Totally worth it.
It's fine.
If we had, well, I mean, it's hard to tell because Facu is where a lot of our production comes from. But if we swapped in Mukhtar for Facu when Mukhtar's on, we'd be winning the cup right now. Maybe. In theory, I don't know.
We're all seeing Pucho, baby.
Look, man, we've seen Nashville. We've seen Nashville be good. They can be good. They will be good. They just need to make some pieces and get Hani some help, and maybe they'll be better. I do have a quick question about Nashville, though. Gonna pull from the deep well for this one. Ethan Zubak has been let go by another team. He's a forward that's been floating around for the MLS for a while. No. Do you think he lands anywhere in the MLS? No, he's bad.
Oh, you mean does he land it? I thought you were going to ask if he would be good at Nashville.
No, he already got let go. But I didn't even know he was in Nashville until I looked at the report, and he got let go again. Ethan Zubak, I don't know. He's been floating around. He had a stint at LA Galaxy before this.
Yeah, I think he was at LA Galaxy.
Like he's been.
I mean, my man's 25 and he doesn't play like ever.
Like he's good enough to be on the bench of team, so there's something there. It just takes the right person to develop him. It's kind of it's a long stretch here. I'm stretching. I think
you're stretching here.
That was a stretch. I'm not gonna lie. It was a stretch before I even said it.
Yeah,
I just
figured Ethan Zubak, and I was like, why? Why are you bringing up Ethan Zubak? Like one of these like Cade Cowell types, like, okay, fine, like he's young, maybe he develops, but like Zubak's like 25. Like
I don't know, man. He's just been floating around. Look,
probably ends up in a USL team.
Listen, when you dive in deep in the dumpster, sometimes you win. Maybe you saw something that I didn't see.
Sometimes you get Ethan Zubak.
And that's why I asked. And guess what? Now I never have to worry about it again. I never have to look at it again. See, now we threw it out there. It's in the metaverse. Now we don't have to bring it up again.
He's gonna win the fucking MVP next year, isn't he? Like they're gonna put him in like Cincinnati, and Lucho Costa's gonna go down, and Ethan Zubak's gonna come on and just be amazing.
All right. Listen up. We're almost done here. We're an hour and 18 minutes. We've kept you guys here long enough. You guys are sick of my voice. I'm sick of my voice. We got one more team real quick before we get out of here. The New England Revolution. I have stamped my flag. Thomas Shankalai is a DP at the New England Revolution. I am super big on this guy. I am super big on this player. I think he is fun. I think he's great. The Bruce Arena era is over. Where did the New York Red Bulls, the New England Revolution, go from here, Chris?
And I don't know. I think it's probably time to say goodnight to Gustavo Bo.
Oh, we've been saying that.
Yeah,
we've been saying that.
Hopefully he's gone.
He's going back to his home. He's going back to his home team, isn't he?
Good.
Like his
that opens up the DP. So we have Carlos Heel and Shankle, right? That we're building around.
I guess so. Yeah.
I'm assuming we're keeping Noah Buck. He's pretty good. This midfield's not terrible. Like fullbacks, maybe upgrade Andrew Farrell, but like DeJuan Jones, pretty good.
Washed.
Romney's a solid player, nothing special but solid. Kessler's pretty good. What
They
the
have
heck
Brandon
is
Bye
Earl-
hopefully coming back.
What the heck is Earl Edwards? Like this is not. No.
Well, Bruce. They sold what's his face. Bruce Arena threw a fit, and then that's why he got fired.
Yes,
or something like that.
Which makes sense because Earl freaking Edwards. Are you kidding me? I mean, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds beat Earl Edwards, man. Like,
Yikes!
Let's be honest here. He is not starting caliber in this league, and you won't convince me otherwise. So get a goalkeeper that is even like halfway good. And they've had two really good ones, to be fair. Like Petrovic and Turner were both really good. They don't even need that quality. They just need like somewhat close to that. And that would be like pretty decent. And then the rest of this team is not bad. Like, I mean, Bobby Wood's not bad as a bench piece.
And we have Nacho Heel too. Don't forget.
I mean, Nacho Hill's not that good. They have what happened to the guy with the really long last name? Is he still alive?
Which one?
Bayraktarovic and Paniatu. They didn't play that much this year.
Who?
Yeah, they were really good. I'm honestly very surprised that he didn't like break into this team because
especially with how bad it was at the end.
When he played DC, where is it? They played DC in a game and they started.
Well, everybody looks good against DC.
Here we go. This game, it doesn't look impressive, but like this game in March, I actually watched this one game and they started Paniatu and I guess they started Bayraktarovic too. I thought that these three were like incredible, and I don't know.
Yeah,
and I guess these two never broke into the team. I didn't watch anything other than that one game, but they looked really good to me. They were all like young players, and I was like, yeah. I mean, he's 18.
Well, listen, I'll let you know, Chris.
Maybe give these guys a chance. You know,
you're starting to build a reputation here for being the young scout. You've been scouting these youngins, making these shout outs. People are making purchases on your back.
No pressure. Mean, these guys should be free, right? Pretty close.
Yeah, there you go.
That's $1. Like
they're young, they're free.
Yeah. Oh, I love doing that. I love going through and just like going to what is the market? No, not market. Scout, player rankings, MLS. Got to bump this down because these guys never play. U23 eligible. Look for forwards or whatever position you want. Filter that bad boy. Pop it on. I guess you pop it on probably limited value, and then just go down the list. That makes no sense. He's definitely not that much. And then just go down the list and like even start like down here, and you just like
Christian Oliveira. Why does it sound familiar?
Doral Farson, he might be okay. Yappy, that's a great price for Darren Yappy.
Wow, Darren! I forgot about Darren Yappy.
He might be pretty good at some point.
Is he still in Colorado?
Yeah. Io Akinola is probably not a bad punt. Jairo Torres, you're hyped on it for Chicago for some reason.
Look at that 45 L5 boy.
Like yikes.
Look at that.
Kikanovic, maybe worth a punt. Ibrahim, maybe worth a punt. DeAndre Kerr, maybe not bad. Schaufelberg, maybe not bad.
Patrick
you can literally just go through Shaquille Marshall Ruddy. Who did you say?
Patrick Ajiman at Charlotte.
Okay, sure.
Oh, come on.
Dejan Joveljic, maybe. I mean, all these guys are like super, super, super cheap. Once you start to get up to here, you need like actual production, right? Like you need like your Quado Ipokus, Dallas Magnos, Duncan McGuire's, like Buick. Buick didn't really pan out as much as I wanted. Kerwin Vargas, he's pretty good. So like Alan Velasco, that's a good move, although he won't play next year.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. But eventually, maybe he'll come back at some point. But yeah, you just literally go through and like there's so many good players that are just down in this area that are free that you can just pick up for nothing.
There it is. Look at that. Look, getting that alpha from Chris, the MLS card / collection guy. Now, look,
and then you go buy their entire team so that you boost them. Yes.
Boost them so that you could use them 5 years from now, because that's how we do on Sober in the States. Dude, we have been here for almost an hour and a half. I did not see it going this way.
Yeah.
But did a lot of teams got eliminated. More and more teams keep getting eliminated. There's 4 games left.
Dare they?
Real quick, who is winning East and the West? Who is going to be in the final right now? Got Houston, LAFC, and we have Hell is Real, Columbus and Cincinnati. Give me the final right now.
Columbus and the Fighting Ben Olsons.
Who's winning MLS Cup?
Columbus.
I have the exact same final, even though I don't think Houston could beat LAFC, but I want them to because we love.
We're on the hype train now.
We are on the train.
We're on the hype train.
I could
we have
be on the train
long enough.
Listen, it was like Orlando City till I die, right? But we're out now that we're out. Like, dude,
someone get this man a Houston hat.
Hector Herrera, baby, let's go MLS Cup.